receive the kickoff. 31 is Jenkins. Robbie Martin, number 83. Let's see what's going to happen here. It's a natural grass turf, and it is pretty soggy. You were down there earlier. Here's Garcia's kick. It's a high, deep kick. That's Jenkins at the 5-yard line. Jenkins gets through a hole and is nailed at the 20. Good coverage by the Packers. And they look like they care today. Green Bay looks like they're up. Brown was down quickly. Here are the Lions on offense. Eric Hipple. Billy Sims is healthy. He may be auditioning. James Jones, the number 1 draft rookie. Mark Nichols and Thompson, good outside receivers. Dietrich, Elias, Mott, the rookie in there. Larry Lee, Keith Dorney back at right tackle, and Ulysses Norris at the tight end. Pretty good offensive club, and here's Hipple's first call. The numbers on Eric Hipple. The toss, back to number 20. That's Sims. Over people. Picks up some yardage to the 27-yard line. Billy Sims. Running against this defense, Byron Braggs in place of Butler this year at left end. Charlie Johnson at the nose. Ezra Johnson at right end, perhaps the weakest part of this defense. Anderson, Wingo, Cumbie, and Douglas, first class, not large linebackers, but very good. Lee Lewis, Johnny Gray, and Murphy, they're hitters, and I think it's an underrated secondary.
Just a note, Brookie, Green Bay's running a 4-man front today, trying to stop the running game of Detroit.
Second down and 4. Sims got 6 on the first. Sims out over the 30-yard line. Looks like enough for a first down. What kind of an off-track runner is Billy Sims? He's been raised indoors, more or less.
Well, yeah, he is a nouveau football player in that he's run on this artificial turf his whole career. But I tell you, I think the guy's great on any kind of turf. Now, we mentioned that Green Bay normally starts a 3-man front. They're come out, the first 2 plays, they've run a 4-man front. They've got Ron Spears, number 79, in there with a 4-man front trying to stop the running game of Detroit.
They would like to try, have Hipple throw probably 40 passes. They would like to force him to throw a lot. First and 10, handoff. Sims behind power, sweep blocking. Sims cuts back inside over the 35. Billy Sims is sort of a glider. He waits, uses his blocks, and he can load it up and run into you, too, when the time comes.
Powerful runner up the middle. Last week we mentioned he got his first 100-yard game.
Of this year.
And 16 of his career. But, boy, when he breaks into the secondary, he's powerful up the middle, but he also has that burst to go all the way, which separates the good backs from the average backs in the NFL.
I liked it last week in the Houston loss when he got mad. I'm not so sure I liked all the demonstrating, but I think he cares, and I think you have to care to play football. Second down, 5. Reverse handoff. Sims cuts inside. Wow. Another first down. Fumble, but maybe late. Boy, he made a quick move at the last minute. Mark Lee made the tackle. Billy Sims looks like he wants to do some things. Remember, he did have a broken hand suffered in the second game of the season.
He almost re-broke it when you shook his hand and when you met him there at Detroit. You see this off a counter play in 61. Homer Elias is pulling to the outside, and the play's designed to go to the outside, but Billy Sims has the vision to cut back on the good block on Cumbie and picks up substantial gain.
Sims carrying the ball rather loosely, almost fumbled it after the handoff. 2 first downs in a row for Detroit. First pass by Hipple. Knocked down by Norris. Norris looks like he's playing defense. Ball was right on target.
Forced him into 2nd and 10. And threw the ball. The ball was on target, and Norris just misses the ball. You got to have these balls in the NFL when you have a possession type attack as they're trying to get today.
The Packer linebackers are hitters. They weigh about 218 or 19 apiece. Not large, but they will really nail you. Second down, 10 now. Hipple long calling. Back to throw again. 2 passes in a row. Being rushed. It's a slip screen to Jones on the outside. James Jones into Packer territory. Another first down to the 46. Mark Lee making another tackle.
James Jones is having a successful career moving. He had to play tailback with Sims at third. They moved into fullback. It's a flood route where they run both his backs over on one side. Simpson, you see Sims going across the field and throws it out there to Jones, and a great block by Lee and Mott, the two linemen leading the screen pass.
That was the 40th reception by Jones, the rookie this year. He's a pretty good all-around football player.
Yes, sir. Very versatile. 6'3", 218.
3 first downs in a row and a timeout call. Good-looking game plan by Detroit. Carolina County Stadium. And I'll tell you, Detroit looks like they have a good offensive game plan. They rolled for 3 first downs in a row.
This is just what they need to do.
Under Hippel's directorship, this is Billy Sims running at the left side of the line, inside the 45 to the 43. Byron Bragg's chasing. There's a little scuffle now. As number 81, it's Reese McCall, mixes it up. Monty Clark, we first saw him early in the year before the big win over Green Bay. He was sort of a tense, beaten man. I think he's much more relaxed right now.
Yes, he's not. He hasn't had he's not a winning record, but you know he's got a better winning record, better percentage winning record than Bart Starr, and Bart's very secure in his contract here.
Well, Clark won. They've won 4 of the last 6. Here's the rollout pass by Hippel, dumped into the flag. Jones has it. There's a flag down, but Jones looks like he has another Detroit first down. Wingo chased him out of bounds. The flag came from sort of down in the secondary, and they're exchanging words again, and I believe it's against the Detroit. Illegal receiver, maybe, blocking downfield. The old pick play, huh?
You know, the pick play is a play that's not really outlawed. It's just a gentleman's agreement amongst the coaches in the NFL that you're not allowed to pick, and all a pick is, Brookie, is like a screen in basketball, and you're just not allowed to do that. And I think that's what this call is, with Jones out into the flat.
Pass interference, number 80, offense, repeat second down.
Norris, the tight end, cleared out so that Jones had the area. And this is the most penalized team in the NFC. Make that 89. A big one, too, when the team was rolling. I'll give you the officials' names in just a moment. They're ranking their serial number 2 to the right. Second down, 16. Hippel with a lot of time. Throws it behind the receiver. Nichols had to reach back for the ball. Almost intercepted.
Hippel's been very impressive in the pocket because of the protection. Look at Steve Mott, 52, the rookie center from Alabama. And Coach Clark said, hey, this is the best thing that happened to us to put him in there at center. He was a captain on Alabama's team with Bear Bryant, Bear Bryant's last year coaching. We talked to Steve, he says, hey, I feel like I got to play good every day because I know Bear Bryant's watching and grading me on every play.
Great tradition. Hippel now in shotgun on 3rd down and 16. Big chase. Hippel gets away from it. On the run, a good pass, and it's dropped by Thompson. Mike Douglas was right there. Hippel made a pretty good scramble and throw, but it's incomplete.
I tell you, Tom, he made a real good scramble and a good throw, and that ball should have been caught. He did his job last week on the pressure situation. He scrambled around and threw it out, and the ball was incomplete, and they had a chance to come back.
Black has 11 inside the 20, the punter. And Epps is back, a very dangerous young man, number 85. You might recall he went 90 against Tampa Bay earlier in the year. Looks like they may be trying to put pressure on Black. Uh-oh, he fumbles it. Black is going to try to run for it. Green Bay has the football. Let's see what happens. The Packers have it. He's on his feet. This is going to be a touchdown unless they call it back. That's Mike Jolly.
The ball bounced out of bounds on the fumble, so I think it's going to be Green Bay's ball at about the 27-yard line.
Did it go out of bounds? Mike Jolly thought he had a touchdown, but at least the Packers have the football. That's Gordon McCarter. A big turnover by Detroit. Black fumbled the snap. And the crowd now is on its feet, over 51,000 at County Stadium, Milwaukee. First offensive play for the Packers. Dickey Dickey back to throw. What else? The screen pass. Number 31 has it. That's Ellis. Ellis for a first down out of bounds at the 17-yard line.
Green Bay must have seen something because they come in on the block and on a muddy field, you can't give up field position. Now, Black has had 2 blocks punts this year, so they must have seen something. He fumbled the snap, and that was the real reason why he got in trouble. He fumbled it there, and the ball did go out of bounds.
Oh, it barely went out of bounds. A big pressure job by the Packers, and I believe Black just dropped the snap. I don't believe he was hurried or anything. Lewis was in the face. Right now, the Packers are moving. 1st and 10. Ball's on the 17. Inside drive. Ellis, the tailback. Stacked up. Inside the 15. Gary Cobb there to greet the new tailback. Used to play fullback. Ellis has been moved to tailback. Seems to like it.
He likes it because he says, I can see a little bit better. Of course, he didn't have a great game last week in that he gained only 26 yards. But he feels more comfortable back there because I can see more. And that's natural because he's back 7 yards instead of 3 up there at the line of scrimmage.
Mike Mead is in at fullback. Jesse Clark has turf toe. We'll talk about that injury later. It is 2nd down and 5 to go. The Packers are driving. They're in plus territory. Handoff to Ellis. Ellis gets a good block inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. The Packers have come out running the football very well.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving and punching and biting out there. These teams don't like each other.
I'm thinking about the old days when they had Lombardi on one side and people like Joe Schmidt and company for Detroit on the other. This is a long time smoldering feud between these two teams.
Great rivalry. They played 106 times, these two teams.
24 touchdown passes for Lynn Dickey. And of course, the most valuable player in the first 2 Super Bowls is the coach, Mark Starr. Huckabee in the ballgame. It's 1st and goal on the 5. Handoff, Huckabee. Ooh, good defensive play. Maybe gets a half a yard. Cobb made the tackle.
Play to the outside. Nobody blocks Gary Cobb. 82 Kaufman obviously was supposed to block him, but good play by Gary Cobb on the outside.
Coming up very early. William Gay came in to finish it off, but the Packers are taking advantage of a turnover on the punting team by Black. He fumbled the snap, was forced out of bounds, fumbled it. The Packers have come up with it, and they're driving. Huckabee and Mead and Lynn Dickey, you see there. Dickey throws it off balance as he's being put on the rush by English. English and Gay both there. Dickey almost got sacked.
There's that pressure up the middle that we spoke of earlier. He just doesn't move sideways very good, so he has to move up into the pocket, and that's the only way he buys time. And you'll see that pair all day, Doug English and William Gay pressuring Lynn Dickey. You know, it's kind of interesting. They threw the ball on 2nd down. They had pretty good success running up until that one play that they were stopped.
This is a big thing for Detroit to try to stop this drive and make Packers settle for 3 points rather than a touchdown after the turnover. Dickey, touchdown to J.J. Johnny Jefferson makes a leaping catch, and that is a 25th touchdown for Lynn Dickey. Look at this.
Jefferson running across the middle. And boy, this shows you what kind of pro Jefferson is. He holds on to that ball, and he's been hit hard. Now that touchdown pass breaks the all-time touchdown pass record for the Green Bay Packers.
And it's done in a 12th game. This is the 12th game for the Packers. Stinnerud trying the extra point. It's good. And so, a notch goes on the gun handle. The first one belongs to the Green Bay Packers. A turnover turned into a touchdown. JJ's 7th of the season. Happy this is, right? It's 7-0 Green Bay. The sign says it all. The main thing was they forced a turnover on the punt, and Green Bay has taken advantage. And this was very important for Bart Starr's team to do it early and try to discontinue the Lions' plans.
That's been the problem that Green Bay's had at the last 6 times they've met.
Okay, Garcia kicking off. This is Jenkins at the 5. Jenkins out to the 20 to the 25-yard line. And now we'll see if the Lions offense can pick up before it was disconnected. Don't forget, the NCAA on Friday, Alabama against Boston College. Be sure to join us as the NCAA football comes to CBS on Friday with a big Thanksgiving weekend. And we think that Alabama against Boston College ought to be a nice way to spend Friday.
Great passing attack at Boston College. Look at that, short 28 yards. Boy, that'll kill you on a wet turf, on a bad turf. Don't give that ball away.
The Lions were stalled when they got caught for a penalty. Here's Billy Sims running hard out over the 31. Mark Lee making another tackle from the secondary. Sims had it going for the Lions in the first drive. They had 3 first downs in a row. Then a completed pass on a screen was called back for an illegal receiver blocking downfield.
And the other thing that was interesting on that drive, when it was 1st and 10, they'd had 2 successful first downs. They threw the pass to Ulysses Norris, and he dropped the ball, and that forced him into a passing situation.
Now the Lions must not panic. They must just go down and try to get something on the scoreboard. It's 2nd down 4. Sims out to the 36-yard line, close to a first down. Mark Murphy there to meet him.
This is one of the great things that Billy Sims does so well. The ball's the place designed to go left. Watch Dorney, number 70, blocking on Byron Braggs, pushing him in the direction that Sims was originally going. And Sims cuts back against the grain on the block. Boy, Keith Dorney, what a great story he is. They just can't keep him out of lineup. He loves to play. He can't stand it when he's out of the lineup.
Early in the year, he had a degeneration of the back, and they shot him with some enzymes.
And it worked.
He's recovered. He's playing like the all-pro we know him to be. Inside handoff. Jones out over the 40. The number 1 selection, a big fullback to go with Billy Sims, and he's big too. Jones at 236. Pittsburgh leading Minnesota 7-0. Very important score. If Minnesota should lose and the Packers should win, they would be on top of this division all by themselves. Cincinnati over Houston. The Raiders leading Buffalo. But that Minnesota score, very important. Minnesota and Green Bay are tied at this time. It's 2nd down and 6. Inside handoff. Sims makes a good move and gets to the 45. Looked like he was on roller skates. Charlie Johnson, the nose tackle, making the stop there.
So Byron Braggs just knifed through there and penetrated early. And watch this natural move that Sims has. When you see Byron Braggs sneak through here, watch this little dodge he makes it cut back and get away from that first tackler and get some yardage out of the play. Billy Sims, boy, he's a great running back.
And using the blockers. They set up blockers. Good runners like that can make you take the false step on defense. Hipple now on 3rd and short. Oh, Sims breaks out against the short yardage, gets to the 45. Is run out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Mark Lee.
It's a critical play on 3rd and 1. Detroit needs to make something happen, and you can see this so many times in the NFL. The pulling guard, Larry Lee, leading the way for Billy Sims, but breaking a short yardage play from big gain, and that's the situation here. Boy, that guy is a fluid runner, isn't he?
And Green Bay doesn't play really good 3rd down defense anyway, do they?
They don't play good defense, period. They're the worst in the NFL and very bad on 3rd down. They're the worst in the league, or 4th in the league.
One of the worst in the league, we know that. Look at the numbers on Billy Sims early in this first period. He's got 60 yards. Bussey in there now. Here's the reverse, fake reverse. A flag is down, and a sack is made by number 59, Johnny Anderson. But the flag is down on the far side of the field. That was a fake drive, reverse pass.
Just an amazing call.
Billy Sims, I got to have him in the ball game running basic stuff for a while.
Well, he was tired. He was out of the lineup, taking himself out because he was tired. But
illegal shift. 2 men moving and not resetting before the snap. Penalty declined. 2nd down.
Bussey and Jones are in there. Billy Sims is out. But I always thought you could rest in the offseason. When you're a great running back, you keep laying the wood to it until somebody can stop you. Second down and a lot. Second down and 19. Hipple to Norris inside the 40 to the 37. Let's go to New York City now for an update with Brent Musburger.
Minnesota snaps right back on Pittsburgh. Steve Dills, who was shaken up but returned on the next play, tosses this touchdown pass to Sam McCullum. And now it's 7-all against the Steelers. Let's go back to Brookie.
McCullum, the old man for the Vikings, played extremely well down the stretch, and we got a tie in that game that we're watching closely. Billy Sims is back in the game, and Hipple is back in the shotgun. It's third down and 10. Hipple with time. Open receiver, number 39 gets it. That's Leonard Thompson. Thompson stays on his feet, has the first down, I believe, at the 25. Timmy Lewis tried to straighten him up, but Leonard Thompson is a very tough little receiver.
Been around the league for 9 years, and watch this effort that he has. To me, this shows me a lot. This shows me what Detroit's all about today. Good poise by Hipple in the pocket and good protection. But watch here. There will be 4 Green Bay players coming in here conversion on Thompson. And watch how he turns upfield and gets the first down. To me, that shows me a lot on how much they want to win this ball game today.
Leonard Thompson had the 80-yarder early in the season. He can go for distance or he can go for first down if he got the first down that time. First and 10. Sims inside the 25 to the 21-yard line. So to scooting. George Cumby met him there. This is the way the game started out with the Lions seeming to control the tempo. I'll tell you, the Packers were just waiting for them to make a mistake and jumped on it.
You know, I'm real impressed with Detroit coming back after that sack of about 12, 14 yards to come back and get the first down because, you know, their plan was to run the ball, but they had 2 little pass plays to get the first. Very impressed with them overcoming that problem.
Detroit was handled by the Washington Redskins rather easily. Remember, Green Bay beat them in a great game early in the year, 48-47. Here's Hipple. Hipple has the target. He's open, and the flags are down inside the 15. Norris made the catch, was tackled, and flags followed both players to the turf. Defensive holding. The preliminary signal by Gordon McCarter.
Holding, number 50, defense, decline, first and 10.
Rich Wingo was holding evidently on Norris.
Boy, I like this ground view. There's Wingo covering Norris across the middle. You can see him grabbing onto the shirt and still didn't help. If you're going to hold, if you're going to cheat, you might as well make the play.
He had that jersey stretched a long way, though, didn't he? It's an automatic first on holding, but it probably would have been anyway, right on the yardage. Inside the 15, the Lions have got it humming right now. The long count. Sims is hit hard. Braggs came up early from that defensive end position and turned number 20 inside.
He's beating the turf. He's mad because he gets up there. He feels like he ought to tackle Sims in the backfield for a loss, and Sims just sort of disappears on him.
How about when we saw him get in the elevator last night with a little snack before he went to bed? He must have had 9 burgers in a bag.
He couldn't even close the top of the bag up. The burgers were piling. So what are you serving dinner to the whole team? He said, no, this is my snack.
He said he was going to keep one for when he got up this morning. A good young player that is playing up to his potential at left defensive end. Right now, it's second down 10. Hipple, he's beginning to dance. Now he throws it away, and there's going to be some booing on this. Ezra Johnson put the heat on. Can you tell you're in Packer country? Pretty smart play by the quarterback, which gives him a third down now to pick it up.
Real good play by Hipple. Nobody credit the Green Bay defense. You know, they can cover a little bit better down there inside that 20-yard line because you don't have the threat of the deep pass.
And remember, Eddie Murray, the kicker, has a strained thigh, so a field goal would be the last thing the Lions want to settle for. It's shotgun on third and 10 on the 14. Hipple off the hands. I believe Jimmy Jones had it go off his hands at the 3-yard line, and Hipple's checking it too.
Jones will be coming out of the backfield, running across the field. The ball's a little low. Jones didn't go down to get it. You got to go down to get that ball. Now, Jones is hurt. He's still on the field. And something happened on that play to get him hurt.
Jones made a diving try, closely covered by the linebacker, John Anderson. Right now, the Lions are going to have to try to settle for a field goal. The Packers... The designated blocker for Green Bay, Lewis, who will try to sky time. The kicker, of course, is Murray, who will be trying it from the 31-yard line. Hipple will hold. Murray is 5 of 6 from this distance, but he does have a strained thigh. Hipple's the holder. It's down. That's a good-looking kick. The plus yardage paid off for Detroit this time. Green Bay's only had one series, but they made it count after the turnover.
Gary Lewis, the designated blocker for Green Bay. He's blocked 3 balls this year. He got up there, but he couldn't stop that one.
What a way to come down. That's the reason they try so hard. You might as well hit the ball. It's 7-3 Green Bay, and they're going to get the aborted kickoff when Murray kicked it out of bounds. But the whistle blew as he was approaching the ball. Possibly the two teams tried to engage before the referee had dropped his arm. I don't think they're going to penalize Murray. Maybe they're going to penalize the officials. Maybe the Zebras are going to get a 5-yard. At any rate, with 1:52 left in this.
The kickoff occurred before the timeout was over. We will re-kick it. It was no play.
Murray's a pretty sneaky guy. Those kickers are getting smarter all the time. Catch them when they're not waiting for the ball. There's the scoring drive. Of course, Murray's 31-yard field goal put the Lions on the board. It's a 7-3 game. 1:48 left in the first period. They may put 3 or 4 seconds back on there. Murray's going to kick it off, and he has the bad leg. Huckabee, number 25. Now Murray's beginning to fake a little bit from side to side. That's natural grass, so you're going to see some pratfalls occasionally. It's wet. Ooh, this is a high, funny-looking kick. That's Chet Winters. Chet Winters gets away from the 3 or 4 people and gets to the 34-yard line. Chet the Jet Winters, tackled by Robbie Martin. Here's the offensive lineup for the Green Bay Packers. Lynn Dickey, the quarterback, 25 TDs, right? Ellis, Mike Meade, the Penn State fullback, Jimmy Lofton, and Johnny Jefferson. If they're any better, I don't know where they are. Swank, Dreschler, the rookie, McCarron, who's been there forever, Sid Kitson, Greg Cook, and Paul Kaufman, no longer underrated at tight end. It's because we've been talking about him so much.
Oh, Jesse Clark, we mentioned earlier, number 33 is not in the lineup, and we question whether he's going to be in there today because of a turf toe. And, well, he had a great game last week in 10 attempts. He gained 79 yards.
He's a tough-looking runner, isn't he?
Dickey likes him in there. That's another way that they get that passing game going, is to create that running game. And
how about the things that have happened to him, though, since he was drafted 3rd back in '71 by Houston? He has had so many injuries, and he's overcome so much that he's really one of the great examples of that in the world, in my mind.
Well, he's a pro's pro. You just can't count a guy out and like that. He is a strong man. He's overcome so many major injuries. You hear a lot about guys that have little injuries, ankles, and...
Well, look at that. Read them off.
Look at this. I mean, a hip injury and a separated shoulder and a broken left leg, and he broke it again the next year. And then a back injury. I mean, these aren't minor injuries, folks. These are major deals where he was in the hospital. The hip injury was horrible.
His wife spent half the career going and picking him up at the hospital and driving him home. That's not bad, though, when they take you back to your house when you've been put in the hospital a while. Here he is. He's healthy. Dickey in the flat to Meade. Meade gets a good block and storms inside the 50-yard line into Detroit territory. He is a load, too, when he gets it underway like that. Bobby Watkins made that tackle.
Boy, Dickey really loves to use his backs. He spreads the wealth out there in that passing game. You see the screen set up. 64 Sid Kitson leading it out there. Of course, Mike Meade, he's a Newhouse-looking guy, you know, short with big legs and strong power, set 5'10", and carries the load. And 2 real good blocks. One right there by Kitson, 64.
The 8th catch of the year for Mike Meade, that Newhouse-looking guy. Here's Ellis making a good move and gets to the 45. You think Robert Newhouse would appreciate your, say, short little guy with funny-looking legs and all that? Your old teammate?
He is a short little guy with big, strong legs, and those guys are hard to tackle, you know.
They got that low gyroscope.
The gyroscope, the low center of gravity. They carry a load, boy, that high leg lift. I didn't like to see those guys coming at me. Good game there on it's now 2nd and 6.
2nd down and 6. Packers offense potent. There's no doubt about that. Looks like the game plan's together. Ellis on the toss. Ellis on the outside. Ooh, good defensive play at the 44-yard line. Bantetti and Curtis Green really stripped that play in a hurry. It looked like it had some yardage written on it.
Detroit's a defensive team. They're just decent in their ranking in the NFC.
Yeah, but they're a pretty good defensive ball club when it counts. They haven't given up too many points.
That's a real good stat right there, amount of points.
At the end of the first quarter, to the first 15 minutes of a battle waged down the playing field. The Packers now have the ball. They only had one drive, but they got 7 on the touchdown pass to Johnny Jefferson from Lynn Dickey. Right now it's 3rd down. Call it 5 at the Detroit 44. Dickey, a lot of time. Outside underthrown as Johnny Jefferson couldn't come up with it. Dickey's foot might have slipped. It's a little soggy when you plant that right foot as a quarterback trying to set up.
He's mad about that. He knew that he threw the ball poorly.
Scribner will come in, try to root the ball out of bounds. Eight inside the 20 for Scribner. He's had 1 blocked. Pretty good kicker. He's had some tough kicking days, too.
Now, 8 is not really that good in the NFL. It's about average right in the middle of the pack for people that are not statistical people.
Let's see if the Lions are doing some dancing, but they're on the return. The left footer drove it. He drove a knuckleball that goes into the end zone and into those lower seats, which would be probably right center field if you were playing baseball. A 44-yard punt, absolutely no return, but it'll come out to the 20. Detroit line, that's pretty nicely done. CBS has got the touch, the Packers got the day. Festive crowd here. Everybody's in their Mackinaws. They came by ski mobiles and what have you. But they love the Packers in Milwaukee. Stars team has won 17 wins and 11 losses when he's been bringing them here. They like it. Toss back to Billy Sims. Billy Sims is stopped at the line of scrimmage by Charlie Johnson. Let's go back to New York and Britt Musburger and get an update.
Brookie, the Eagles need you in their secondary. I mean, watch Butch Woolfolk here with this sweep. Where's a Brookshire back there to stop him? And the Giants lead the Eagles by 10. Back to Brookie.
Thank you, Britt. They'd have to change a lot of the rules before I could ever come back and play. Jimmy Brown might be talking comeback. I'm talking way back. It's tough enough up in the booth. From the 20-yard line, 2nd down. Good defensive play on 1st down against Detroit. That's Hipple. Here's the draw play to Thompson. Vince Thompson is in there, number 30. And the Packer defense now is beginning to do the hitting. And again, their linebackers are very good. They're very agile, and they're good tacklers. Wingo and Cumby there.
Vince Thompson, number 38, is in here replacing James Jones, who we got a report that got bruised ribs on that pass that he dropped across the middle of the ball. He must have fallen on the ball and bruised his ribs, but real good tackle there, Scott.
Remember, this Detroit team shut out Tampa Bay on opening day, 11-0, and then they lost 4 games in a row before they got back on the right side by beating Green Bay. They think they can beat Green Bay, but right now the Packer defense doesn't act like they're convinced. 3rd down and 8. Hipple. Now the play is stopped. The clock might have run out. It did. Detroit used too much time. Marcia Broda is on the sideline with Monty Clark. They are sending the plays in to Eric Hipple. And that has been questioned in some of the strategy.
Delay of game. Offense. Still 3rd down.
Monty's the big fella in the middle. That's Danielson, the other quarterback on the right side. And Marcia Broda is the shorter man with the charts. A week ago, they had Sims going like gangbusters, and in one period threw the ball every play of a series, and they lost the game. It's 3rd down and 17. Hipple being chased, pressured, Dumps it off to Billy Sims. He's got blockers. Good defensive recovery at the 27-yard line by Dwayne Osteen.
This is a typical play on a third and long situation. Green Bay's running a three-man front with 5 linebackers and then 3 deep safety. And watch the way they converge on this screen pass right here to Billy Sims. You'll see several Green Bay jerseys coming up. Osteen playing off the block. Of course, Tim Lewis coming up in there, the rookie. And the tackle made by Mike Jolly.
Osteen, of course, used to be at the Raiders, with the Rams. He's been a very good nickelback. And I'll tell you, the Packer defense, they're playing like it's outrageous. This is Black kicking. Remember, he fumbled the first one. He gets this one. It's a low kick and not very well kicked. Green Bay gets the bounce at the 43-yard line. That's a hang-in time. The coach will hang you if you have 3-point hang times. Black. Green Bay with a 7-3 lead. Don't forget, in the Central Division, they have the Bears twice, Atlanta once more. After this, Packers think they can decide their own fate, and obviously they've gotten to the playoffs. They sort of like that.
Great field position going deep.
Dickey coming across the middle, throws it at the 40-yard line. A diving catch by James Lofton, his first of the day. And this ball was really hummed.
On first down with great field position. You see what the defensive backs are doing. You see the strong safety coming up short. This is 3 deep on the outside out there. At the bottom of your screen, Lofton's got the back one-on-one by himself. And the back's responsible for the deep route, and that's the reason why he laid off, and the pass is completed in front of him.
James Lofton is either doubled or tripled, and usually you try to find a way to hit somebody else because of the mismatch. That time, Dickey drilled it to him, and he got it. Jesse Clark in the game for the first time. We had a feeling that Clark might want to play. He told us he couldn't play yesterday, but he had a look in his eye like he might just feel better on Sunday.
Oh, he likes that ball. He likes that action. 79 yards last week with a sore toe coming into this ball game. And
he should be a statue in Central Park. Is he put together like a rock?
Boy, I tell you, that's makes you glad you're up here in the booth not having to tackle somebody like that.
He says he bench presses 450.
450-pound bench press.
And he wants to play football, and he rented an apartment, they said, as soon as he got to training camp. He said, I thought I could use a positive approach and make this team. He's right.
Encroachment, number 59, defense, first down 5.
Encroachment as Jimmy Williams tried to get in the slot, maybe make somebody miss him, and got caught. Meade is in now. Clark is out.
Another penalty on Detroit. Most penalized team in the NFC.
It's hard to overcome them, and they come at different times. This makes 1st and 5, which is a good throwing down. Dickey back to throw. Across the middle, Kaufman. Kaufman steams inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Boy, Dickey set up and threw another strike. Alvin Hall hanging on for the tackle.
But Coach Bart Starr said yesterday they'll have to double the outside receivers, and that leaves Fantetti a lot of ground to cover that tight end Kaufman. And watch the way Dickey gets this ball in there in a hurry. You know what I like about Kaufman? Watch the way he turns the ball up. As soon as he catches it, right up there, just get that yardage. Well, I think you've got to throw to the tight end in the NFL, especially when you have those wide receivers, the caliber they have at Green Bay.
Especially when it's a free agent like him. He's a wildcat sort of guy that's scruffled to make the team, and those kind of people play hard, especially when you're heading for the playoffs. The Packers think they are. First down, misdirection play, fumbled by Ellis, and the Lions jumped him. Fumbled by Ellis, but not lost. Each team really has been very careful about losing fumbles this year.
Little play right here, little counter play, but just a fumbled handoff. Something about the... Isn't it funny? They've been together. This is the 12th game of the year, and a little play like that,
yeah.
He never got control of the ball.
But the Packers have only lost 10 fumbles from the line of scrimmage coming this year. That is not a bad total in the 12th football.
On the other side of the line of scrimmage, Detroit's only lost 7. That's not many fumbles.
That's incredible. They run the ball a lot, too. Dickey keeping the backs in for protection. Going up. Kaufman is overthrown in the end zone. Mel Kaufman had a little bit of a lead on Gary Cobb. Ball just beyond Kaufman's reach. Dickey threw a little bit of a soft job, tried to loop it over.
He had him isolated over there on the linebacker. You see him looking left, trying to pull the safeties to see what's going on. The two wide receivers are on the left side. All he's doing is pumping. He wants to throw it to Kaufman all the way. He just overthrew. See him isolated on Gary Cobb right there, 53. You just can't cover Kaufman one-on-one with a linebacker by himself.
Dressler doing a pretty good job blocking Doug English at this time. The rookie from North Carolina is hanging in there against one of the game's best. It's 3rd down and 10. Dickey with a pro set back. He's keeping him in. Now he's checking Ellis out. Dickey overthrowing and almost having the ball intercepted. He's calling for interference, Dickey is, but Graham had a better shot at it than Lofton.
He's down.
The field goal team will come in trying to put 3 on the board. That's Jan Stenerud, who has the most amazing percentage of field goal kicking probably around this game, at his age especially.
Oh, he is just amazing. He said when I first came into the league, 50% was real good, and they felt real comfortable with that. Now they expect me to make 75% of my field goals, and he's doing it, boy. He said last week when he played in that the Metrodome, he said, I could play forever if I played in a place like this every week.
How about he's been around so long that he's attempted 120 some odd, over 50 field goals.
Over 129 field goal attempts over 50 yards, and he's made 50% of those.
Amazing. Stenerud, one of the high percentage kickers in the history of this game, is going to try one now from the, it'll be a 37-yard attempt. They call it dead solid perfect in golf. In football, it's worth 3. Look at this. He likes it, doesn't he? So does Bart Starr. Green. At County Stadium in Milwaukee, it's getting a little bit cooler and the wind is coming up. And on the field, it's been wet. It's going to get a little bit of a glazed football appearance now. You're going to see some bobbles. Garcia kicking off, and the ball is blown off the tee.
Swirling wind. See those light standards moving back and forth. Concerns me. I wouldn't want to be sitting out there. It's gusting up to 30 miles an hour. And went down on the field. It's hard to tell which way it's coming from.
Garcia now with the kickoff. Jenkins and Robbie Martin waiting for Detroit. They're down by a 10-3 count. This is a good high kickoff. That's Jenkins at the 10-yard line. Jenkins getting a good run back. And Hippo and Detroit's going to have darn good field position at about the 37-yard line. Remember, the last time these two teams played in the Silverdome, the Lions without Billy Sims rushed for 171 yards. And they must get confidence out of that, don't they, Charlie?
Oh, they do. Very strong game the last time they played. And to be able to pick up that kind of yards without Sims, which is a different type of track. You know, the track is a factor, a big factor in today's ballgame.
Jimmy Jones, by the way, is in the locker room. He's getting a flak jacket. He injured his ribs making that attempted catch down inside the 5-yard line. So Vince Thompson is the young back that's in there in his place. This is Billy Sims. You know him, don't you? Sims slashes for probably 6 yards. Braggs making the tackle there. Don't forget, this Thanksgiving Day, the St. Louis Football Cardinals with a lot of offense with Lomax and Green and people like that against the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, they don't have any players we know, but they are America's team. 3:30 Eastern Time, Thanksgiving Day. Your former team, do you have any comment on that?
No comment.
No comment? Pretty good football
You're just
team,
jealous, though, right?
Nah, of course I'm jealous.
I tell you, that Thursday game is tough. We're 4 days to recover. And Detroit having to face that. They've got to play on Thursday.
They got to play Pittsburgh. Whew. Sims held to maybe a half a yard by Charlie Johnson. The one place that I think the improvement for the Packers has been most noticeable is on the defensive line. Charlie Johnson now playing nose tackle. Braggs playing defensive end. Butler's taken off. Played pretty decently. Chicago leading Tampa Bay 7-0. It's a second quarter score. Cleveland 10, New England nothing. We were a little impressed with the Browns a week ago. It looked like they may be in there to the end in that AFC Central. 3rd down and 4, and it's shotgun. Hipple dancing. Oh, Thompson flat dropped it at the 49-yard line.
Well, that man there is doing his job. That's 2 times he's put the ball to Thompson. Thompson hit with an 18-yard average per catch, which is high for Thompson. He's usually just a possession-type receiver, and he just doesn't drop this many passes. He's dropped 2. Of course, he's got a really good catch for a touchdown, for a first down earlier.
No gloves, and you can see Mike Black licking his hands. They may be frozen by the time he gets the ball. He's got to be careful of that. He fumbled that first snap. He steps over, gets this one, and it's a low kick, but it's really rooted. Epps driven back to about the 11-yard line. Epps gets to the 14.5-yard line. Good coverage. Roosevelt Barnes makes the tackle, and Black got the putt off. He's Packers and Lions, and Green Bay has the ball. They have that 10-3 lead. Boy, they have played some great football this year, and they have played some very disappointing football. And I think the roller coaster effect is what's probably driven people crazy the most. First and 10 facing Dickey now at the 15-yard line. The drive play to tailback Ellis. Ellis gets a hold, gets out over the 30, dragging people to the 34. Crowd loves it, huh? That's old-style Green Bay football.
Running game, they run the ball down here, backed up. Watch the way they play. It's a rolling eye. This is a patented eye play where you'll start in one direction and push back the other, and let your blockers, let the tacklers go in one direction. Just push them on over and let the backs adjust to the other side. It's a good, strong run by Ellis.
A 19-yarder by the Missouri back who was in the same backfield with James Wilder, Tampa Bay's new tailback. Pretty good team Missouri had. I can't believe anybody beat them in the Big A. First and 10. The toss back to Ellis. Ooh, hit hard. Just out over the 35. Fantetti met him there. Fantetti is he's a prototype linebacker. When you look him in the eyes, he just scares the heck out of you.
Oh, he's a mean guy in the 4-3 front. The middle linebacker has to be the man making the tackles. Watch him on this one. They call him the Sandman.
Why is that?
Boy, you see, knocks their lights out when he hits them. Boy, he stuck them there.
The Sandman. The Wyoming Cowboy, a hard-hitting linebacker. Doesn't have speed they claim to play pass defense, but he can play that game on the line of scrimmage. Here's Dickey back to throw, being chased and being sacked. Number 66 got there first. Kofor came around the horn and got number 12, first sack.
The first sack that Detroit has had. Pressure up the middle. You see 61 working on 78 English. That's Dressler, the rookie. But the pressure comes from Kofor from the outside. Dickey just didn't have anywhere to go. Great pass rush.
Remember, Detroit does a lot of stunting up front. If you cut off somebody to stunt, sometimes you can make big yardage on a draw play and all. But if you don't, they're coming from all angles, and the quarterback begins to get a little bit crazy when he goes back into the pocket. Third down and 12. Dickey with time this time, rifles it in. Kaufman making the diving catch at the 43.
They had the two wide receivers on the left side again, putting Kaufman on the right side, working against the linebackers, and watch the authority with which Dickey fires that ball in there, low and away, and enough, well, just a little short of the first down. We mentioned that Dressler is working against the rookie, the all-pro English. He holds him out good on that play, number 61. And of course, you know, English had a great game against him last time.
It's short of the first down, however, and Scribner's going to have to kick. Eddie Kayet's defensive line beginning to lay their ears back and put the pass rush on. Just short of that first down. The fans thought Kaufman had it. Here's the left footer. It's a good hang time here. And it's a windy day. This is going to be a tough reception. It may be deep. It's got to be fielded. Now it is, and it's fumbled and bobbled down in there. Kenny Jenkins fighting for it at the 3. Each team thinks they have it. A 54-yard punt. Who's got possession?
And how are you going to find out who has that ball? I mean, are they going to get down in there? I mean, I've been in the bottom of those piles. People are pulling and scratching.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. Who comes out with it?
How are they going to pull them off to figure out who's got it?
The Packers say they have it. The fans say they have it. Detroit players beginning to walk away with their heads down.
That was a driving punt. Tough decision by Jenkins. The ball's supposed to go into the end zone when it hits on the 10, but it didn't go, and he decides to pick it up, and not a shortstop by trade.
Toughest feeling in the world must be that when you're the only fellow back there and 6 people in that gold and green are after you. Rubens made the recovery. A tremendous turnover for Green Bay. The second one of this game so far in the first half.
Excuse me, Brookie, and both of them in the kicking game, which is usually an indication of how you're playing as a team. what type of mental attitude you have to keep in mind. Now, this wind is a big factor, but I don't think the guy could have caught that ball. It was too deep. The ball's supposed to go in the end zone. I guess you should have let it be down there at the 3.
Again, it's a natural grass turf that's wet. It probably did things differently than young Jenkins has seen. Inside drive play. Ellis fumbles at the end zone, and the Lions are going to get it at the 20 if they can recover it. The Lions think they've saved it. That will come out to the 20. Oh, boy, this second half's going to be a brawl. What a game this is going to be. Intensity level very high. Graham made the recovery for Detroit. He's taking it home with him.
This is the second handoff that we've had fumbled between Ellis and Dickey. That ball was fumbled before he was hit. It's a funny ball. That ball just doesn't want to bounce the way you want it to go. Watch how they have a hard time getting this ball in the end zone.
We also said it's getting colder, and the wind is beginning to blow, and everybody's getting a little glazed. You know, when I played against Bart, I used to try to do dirty little things to the other quarterback, and he somehow always thwarted me by just being a class person. You know what I mean?
He is a very classy man.
And, of course, he got to the playoffs a year ago and gave Dallas all they could handle in that second playoff game. A driving run by Billy Sims. Number 20. Hasn't decided which league he's going to play in, but I have a feeling he's going to get a good enough contract in Detroit to stay in the NFL. I wouldn't let this man go.
Boy, he's a slashing, dodging, dipping runner, boy. He's already gained 79 yards today.
Boy, can he clear a table of Dixie Cups and all like he did there in Houston, huh?
He can leap, too.
Billy Sims up the middle now. 4:58 left before halftime of a real bitterly fought game right here. Let's go to New York and get an update from Brent Musburger.
Rookie, the Bears strike again. They now lead 14-0. It is Walter Payton. And with his touchdown, he passes 1,000 yards rushing for the season. Back to Brookie.
And Brent, he's only in his 9th year of rushing, and he really is very, very close to Jim Brown, who did all of his in 9 years. Walter Payton has got to be one of those fellows that will go directly to Canton in the Hall of Fame when he quits. Right here we've got Billy Sims going. It's a first down toss back to Sims. Good defensive play, and Sims somehow gets back to the 39-yard line. Braggs had him cut off.
Earlier, Braggs was beating the turf, and now he's beating himself in the head. He can't understand how he didn't get Sims in the backfield. See, that little guy there can really scoot. Sims has no business getting up to the line of scrimmage here, but he ends up gaining 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Braggs has him. He has him right here, doesn't he?
Well, he looks like he has him, but he didn't get him.
Boy, I like the way he can stay low and drive.
Boy, he can cut. This turf doesn't bother him a bit, Brookie.
Second down, call it 6 to go. We've got 3:47 left before half. 10-3 ball game. Hipple going up, easily defended and almost intercepted by Tim Lewis, the Pittsburgh rookie, who is really beginning to play good football for the Pack.
Boy, he has had a great start. This is the 3rd game he started. The first game of the year he started, he gets 2 interceptions. He's already hit Kaufman at the line of scrimmage, comes off and then goes for the interception. I'm really impressed with this young rookie. Of course, he hit Thompson at the line of scrimmage.
Good pressure then by Douglas, the linebacker, who fired from that side. Looked like Hipple just sort of locked and loaded and let it go, didn't he?
Well, he was hoping he'd get an interference call. He knew his man was knocked down, but it was a clean play by Lewis.
Big time for the Green Bay defense to play 3rd down. It's 3rd down and 6. Hipple. Complete to Norris inside the Green Bay 50-yard line. John Anderson tackling there. Good throw by Hipple, and the flags are down. It may be holding.
He had time to throw, but it must have been because somebody cheated and held in the line. Green Bay ran a stunt. That's a little game that the defensive linemen play, where one guy takes the alley that they normally take and then switch positions, and
They call that a little game?
a game, a twist.
Oh, boy. This game has sure changed a lot.
Holding, number 72 offense, repeat 3rd down.
That's Dietrich, number 72, having trouble, as Charlie said, with the stunt.
There's the stunt, you see. 73 Braggs. On the right-hand side, he gets the screen is 72. Dietrich, and he just tackled him.
Take that.
He tackled Ezra Johnson.
Ezra, always a good pass rusher, and on 3rd down and long, he went for it. Now it's 3rd down and 16. Hipple gets out, throws it on the run, and it's almost intercepted again. Lee this time The ball bounced off several people, and Hipple's lucky to get out of that trap alive.
Well, that was the first poor decision that Hipples had all day. Had time to throw right here. Nobody open. He's better get out of the pocket because those big ones are closing in on him. You see Johnson Nanny. This ball is thrown poorly. Tipped up in the air by Douglas and almost intercepted by Lee.
I figure the quarterbacks have a mental clock that's ticking in their head. They got about 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. They get on their way, don't they?
Yeah, they get that clock cleaned every once in a while, and they know it's time to get out of there.
Black is back to kick. Mike Black from out in the deserts of Arizona. Oh, he almost gets it blocked. This is not a great kick. Bounces out again. Green Bay will have it at the 41-yard line. Wow. Black having trouble on the natural turf in foreign Milwaukee. The kicking game has given Detroit some problems here.
Down the stretch, the kicking teams have to be stable.
3:18 left before half. First and 10 to 41. Slip screen on the outside. That's Meade with the ball. Pretty good defensive recovery there by Detroit. McNorton out there to make the tackle. Lynn Dickey. He's almost catching his coach's records. Starr is looking at the fellow that may replace him. It's the all-time record holder. We understand that Dickey has signed a new contract. Will be one of the highest-paid quarterbacks in football for the next 3 or 4 years.
Bart Starr's face just gleams when we start talking about Dickey. He really does appreciate what Dickey's overcome in his pro career.
And he's got to have that pocket intact. He needs to have a solid front and front. Second down and call it 9. Dickey with the time to throw. Jefferson is knocked away from it. The flags are down. Kaufman made the catch, and I believe it was Fantetti that drilled either one or both of the receivers. Fantetti was grabbing people on all sides.
Well, everybody saw the same thing. There were flags coming from everywhere.
Pass interference. Number 33 defense. First and 10.
Number 33, Graham, was the one detected.
Well, Graham, right in the middle of your screen, is the one called. He's called for holding on J.J., but the pass is thrown to right in front of you on the left side.
Fantetti, he shinnied up Kaufman and pulled him down.
But Fantetti could have been called for interference, too.
Not too expensive, Albert. It's just an automatic first down. And it will give the Packers a first down to 46. Dickey back to throw. Quick drop. Going for Johnny Jefferson. He has it inside the 20. A good throw, and J.J. was led perfectly. Hall couldn't keep him from making the catch.
This is called a split route. They try to split the safety in the corner. Watkins slips a little bit. It's between the safety and the cornerback right in there in a timing route. And Alvin Hall couldn't get there in time. Well, Bobby Watkins slipped a little bit when J.J. made the cut. Boy, that's a great timing route.
And what a team player J.J. is. I remember a few years ago when he had 81 catches with San Diego. They didn't want to give him any money. Mr. Klein got tight. And suddenly Green Bay picked this young man up in 81. And Johnny Jefferson is a Green Bay-type player. Charlie Waters, County Stadium, Milwaukee. You played here. I did a game when you guys beat up on the Packers a few years ago. Did you like to come to Milwaukee to play?
Yeah.
Is that a fair question?
That's a good question. I like the old turf, and I like the history here at this stadium.
How about the food in this town? You guys went out at night, or were you allowed to with that?
All we had was hot dogs and buns. That's all we ate.
Ellis trapped behind the line of scrimmage. A loss. Good defensive play by Jimmy Williams, number 59. I thought Dallas was treated you guys with kid gloves. I thought it was carte blanche. Anything you guys wanted to eat by room service, day or night?
You probably thought that they called the game off when it was under 35 degrees. Is that it, Dallas players?
Well, that's, you guys got the star on the helmet.
They do have that reputation, but I enjoyed playing in the real muck and stuff. And they got it out there today, the real turf.
This is that Nouveau football game we've been looking for. Good old grass. Second down and 10. Dickey back. He's got good protection. Going for the corner. Johnny Jefferson gets it knocked away. Great defensive play by Alvin Hall at the last minute.
It's a great defensive play by Hall. Wow. And a type of thing that right now Detroit really needs to stop them in this situation. If they can hold them to 3 points, it would be such a boost going into halftime. And look at this recovery by Hall. The ball's a little underthrown, and he reaches up. Boy, that is great. The defensive back is looking at that receiver's eyes, and he could see that that ball was coming in, and he put his hand right where J.J.'s hands were. Boy, that was a great play.
And he looked him right in the eye so that the official knew he was going for the ball. What a defensive play. But Dickey's back there squeezing off another round. It's 3rd down and 10. He's got Ellis out. Ellis has the ball, drops the football at the 15-yard line. A tough catch, though. That is a tough catch coming right over your shoulder. Fantetti was trailing, and we're going to get the field goal attempt by Stenerud. With him, it's a good chance. It's not an attempt. But they would like to have had a nail like 7 right now would have been very important.
He's only missed 1 in the 30-yard area this year.
This would be a 35-yarder.
Remember, there's a swirling wind down there that plays a major factor.
Scribner, the punter, is holding. He's left-footed. Stenerud drills it. Wow. Wow. He just keeps ripping them through. First with Kansas City is Grant.
You're sick.
Oh,
that is S-I-C-C-C.
Sick. Preceding announcement was brought to you by the National Football League and Big Doug English, the Texan, talking about the good things we do in the NFL. It is fun, and these people do get into the community and become part of it. Garcia's going to kick off. For the light standards, the wind is blowing so much, the light standards now are moving back and forth in this baseball park. And, it looks rather scary. Maybe we'll show the fans later on.
Look at that.
There it is. Now, you can't see it right now. Maybe that's the flag. You can see it hanging out, but we'll try to show you those poles when they're moving. Maybe they're not moving. Maybe it's just us. Garcia's kickoff. At the 5 is Kenny Jenkins. Jenkins has handled all the kickoff returns and pretty well. Jenkins out to the 37-yard line. Good coverage there. And Lewis made the tackle down. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, the NFL Today, Brent and Irv, and with all the scores and highlights, and a story about Warren Moon. He wants to move south because Warren is the great quarterback from Canada. But I'll tell you one thing, Warren, before you come down, this is a different game. Up there, you can run the whole team in motion, throw on every down.
I think it's interesting to note that he wants to come to the NFL. He says, I want to play in the NFL.
Well, I hope he can play in it. They'll sure give him a chance. 1:04 left before halftime. Hipple back, trailing 13-3. Hipple being chased, stripped of the ball. Let's see that his arm was coming forward. Douglas gets the sack, but Green Bay doesn't get the ball.
Judgment call by the official, and one thing that's good is that official called it immediately. Now, it's the way the rule reads, it's a forward motion. Now, that forward motion can start down at your hip. Or, well, he was throwing. It's hard to tell. Douglas the one that stripped him.
The official had a great angle from the backside, even better than our cameras, which is hard to believe because that was a great replay.
And I like it that he called it immediately. He wasn't questioning. If they hesitate a second, hey, there's a question mark. But it's a judgment call, and he made the call.
Big pressure by the Packers. They almost got the ball. They didn't get the quarterback. It's 2nd down and 10. 57 seconds left. Packers with the advantage. Hipple gets almost intercepted. Diving linebacker. Anderson almost had the ball, and they are active.
Green Bay's running this 3-man front and only pressure the quarterback with 3 guys, but they've got 5 guys across the medium zone. And watch the 44 Osteen making a move on the ball. He and Anderson, boy, there's 5 intended for Jeff Chadwick. That's the advantage of having 5 men across there. It's hard to throw those medium range routes because they're all playing a zone and looking at the quarterback and moving on his throw.
Anderson didn't know it, but Osteen might have had that INT if the linebacker hadn't stabbed it. New life for the Lions, but only 53 seconds left. 3rd down and 10. Hipple, pretty good pressure. Oh, almost picked off again at the 41. That's Mike Jolly. The Packers now reading the pass and going for it. There is holding called against Detroit. That's the preliminary signal.
Detroit racking up the penalties. Of course, it'll be declined by Green Bay.
Holding Number 72 offense, decline.
Dietrich.
4th down.
Working against the pass rush of Ezra Johnson, number 90. The saga of the punter, Mike Black back in there. He has done a little of everything except the adagio today. Fumbled the first snap. And I'll tell you, they're faking coming, or they are coming. With 48 seconds left. Here he is. Oh, he fumbles another one. Black is hit. He throws a pass, and it's intercepted and taken by number 62. Laughlin has the ball. Interception of a punt pass. Jimmy Laughlin out of Ohio State made a leaping, juggling catch.
Well, this is amazing. He has had a tough day. He's already fumbled one, and here he fumbles the other one. This is what my question is right there. What is he doing? Go down. Now he tries to throw the ball.
I'm wondering if they got a sack, because he would throw that one under a lot of pressure.
Well, this is just the thing you do not need if you're Detroit. Going into halftime, they had held Green Bay to a field goal because of a bad punt on the series before.
That's Bob Schnelker, the offensive coordinator you saw just briefly on the sidelines. The Packers need something right now. 38 seconds is all. Dickey rolling right. Dumping away from Kaufman, almost picked off. Almost picked off as Jimmy Williams came close. So did Kaufman. That'll stop the clock. You've got the clock there. You can see in these older stadiums there's a little bit of movement there because the people are up on their feet. These people have been coming to see Packer football for 50 years in Milwaukee. Can you imagine that?
Boy, I love the heritage, and I kind of get intimidated, Brookie, covering these games in this area.
They come down here from Green Bay in a bus, just the way we used to do it in high school and all. There's a funny feeling about that kind of football. Lynn Dickey fits in. What a trade when they got number 12. He's back. He's pressured, and he dumps it off. It's knocked a while. They're going to call. The flags are falling, and Johnny Jefferson thinks he was maligned. McNorton does not agree.
I tell you, I have a lot of sympathy for the Detroit defense right here.
You got to let them play.
Number 29 defense in the end zone. First down, goal.
You got to let them play down in that end zone. You got to let them play.
Well, you can't cheat, but you still want to let them play. It'll be on the left-hand side of your screen. Norton will come into the camera. It's going to be hard to see. Boy, with poor Detroit, they've had their backs to the wall. He's going for the ball. It's hard to tell from that angle. Of course, the referee called back there, and you can see him pulling the flag.
Down close. If you can't go for the ball in defensive secondary, you can't play. Anyway, it's first and goal. Fake handoff. Touchdown pass to Kaufman. A special team turnover. And the Lions defensive players are looking at the ground. And the Packers are looking straight up.
Little play action pass. Fake the Huckabee on the outside. You see Kaufman just opens up. This is the 26th touchdown pass by Lynn Dickey. Adding on to his record at Green Bay.
And the 7th TD catch for Kaufman of the year. Stinnerud. With Scribner holding. The Lions are going to be awfully mad at halftime. It's good. What a big margin to carry in with you at halftime. They get a free one.
You're down here on defense. You got to stop the run no matter what. Pass is secondary. And obviously somebody else was thinking about run first. McNorton maybe might have been the person responsible, but it's always hard to tell with sophisticated defenses today.
Well, now you were on Dallas teams when punts were blocked and things like that. What does the kicker face when he goes to the sideline? The NFL today. Garcia will try to kick off. But the Lions, I think, a little stunned. Defensive teams can lose their punch sometimes when they're inside their five fighting all the time.
Green Bay has had great field position throughout the first half.
Garcia, a squib kick. Taken by the wedge. Run back out. He's still on his feet and being Harris at the 36-yard line. That's Horace King. And now what will the Lions try to do? There's 19 seconds left. Offsides called against Green Bay. They're hustling down there to get after people, and that's, of course, what you want your special teams to do. They've turned 2 fumbled snaps of punts by Black around into really 2 touchdowns.
And Black, we mentioned at halftime. Well, what do you say to him?
Offside, number 51, kicking team, penalty declined, 1st and 10.
Packers have come in with 304 points scored, which is a lot, but they've given up 309 points. So they've got to outscore people a lot. They can get on the board, can't they?
Well, they sure can. They're playing like a defense that's possessed today, though.
Detroit with only the field goal so far. 1st and 10 from the 36. Pippen, all the way at quarterback, dumps off. Norris takes the ball and gets a heading. Run out of bounds right into the Green Bay portion of the bench. Maybe a gain of a couple of yards. Anderson was hawking it. And the people here, 50-some-odd thousand, counted down to the half. Count on the turnovers or not, the 2 big ones on the punts, as far as I'm concerned, are the name of the game. But you take what you can get. Remember last year, Detroit went to the playoffs and the Redskins beat them. The Packers, meanwhile, beat St. Louis and then lost in a good game to the Dallas Cowboys. They think they want to go back again. That's Huckabee waiting for the kickoff by Murray.
But you never give up. You've got a chance. It's a 30-minute game right now.